I really don't like this episode. As you may or may not know, I'm currently watching Star Wars Visions, a Star Wars anthology series. Yeah, I watched my last video on that, by the way. Anyways, the episode I wanted to talk about today was, in my opinion, the worst in the season. The anti-pops to the pop star was in episode 5, the yin to its yang. You get it. The episode in question is season 1, episode 8, Lop and Ocho. I really don't know how the audience reception to this episode was. Don't get me wrong, the premise was definitely interesting. It tries to explore themes of change versus conservatism, and when is it okay to change, and who decides when it's worth it, and stuff like that. But one of my main issues with this episode is one of the main characters, Ocho, which is never a good sign. The story rather quickly tries to present her as this utilitarian enforcer of change, just trying to do what's best for the planet. But they do it in a very lackluster way. Her first appearance is when she meets Lop, this bunny slave, and convinces her father to adopt her. Then 7 years later, he blows up an imperial factory and they argue over it. Then she's driving in a car away with Lop, and now she's an imperial agent. Like, oh bro, things happen too fast. Those were 4 distinct scenes we had with her before she turned to the dark side.
I get it, you know? I love this planet. And I love Papa too. And as his heir, that's exactly why I have to turn to the Empire. For the sake of our future. Papa doesn't get it. But leave it to me. I know how to take care of the household.
The words used in this scene implies she's been frustrated with her father's antics for quite a while, and the Empire has been trying to get her to convince him. And on its own, I have very little issue with this. My problem starts when she leaves the clan to join them. First of all, why would you just leave family and join these people? You could say it's to promote advancement of the planet, but genuinely, how would it? Unless she plans to join them and invade her own planet, then joining them does fuck all. Or maybe she gave up and forsake the planet, that makes more sense. But even then, it wouldn't make sense because everything she has done and she's doing is quote unquote for the planet. So to just randomly forsake it is out of character. Even though she's shown very little character so far. But it's fine. Heck, her father doesn't even show any visible reaction when he finds out his daughter has turned traitor. And guess what this story still has the audacity to pull? When their father is on his way to talk to Ocho, Lop tells him,
I know that Ocho loves you, Father. She told me so herself.
I'm glad to hear that.
do you know how crazy it is for this line to be here? This is the only proof in the whole episode that this girl loves her father. And it's being told to us. She has never shown an ounce of love for that man. But this is part of a wider issue I'll touch on later. The worst part of it all is when she's shown again. Oh my days. She is draped up head to toe in imperial gear. For what purpose? No fucking clue. But this time she's fighting her father. Yasaburo, her father, wants to stop the fighting, but she says he doesn't understand. Excuse me, understand what, please? Anyways, they continue fighting and Ocho eventually blinds her father, then has the audacity to say, I had to, you left me no choice. He didn't even want to fight. I want to believe she's brainwashed here, but there is zero indication of it. Yasaburo says they can protect their homeland together if they join forces. He and his daughter, anyways. And she complains that she can't turn back now. Again, why can't she? She proceeded to then exchange blows with her adoptive sister Lop. Look, her inconsistency as a character isn't even my biggest issue with her. At least, inconsistency implies existence. My biggest issue with her is lack of any actual goals. She says she wants to help modernize and advance Tau, that's the planet they're on, but has no actual plans of doing so. It's stated in the first few seconds of the episode that the Empire brought oppression and were exploiting the natural resources of Tau, but she still decides to side with them. They had established a presence on the planet that made the head of the planet's guards run away, but she still chose to side with them. They said they would make life rougher for the Yasaburo clan if they did not submit, implying they made it rough before, but she still chose to side with them. They even said they'd bring an end to the bloodshed, which implies people were dying, but she still chose to side with them. Like, I could go on. And when she is confronted with the fact the Empire may turn the planet into a war zone, she replies with this.
Why throw ourselves at their feet? They continue their military buildup. But what happens if they turn this planet into a war zone? You want to lead this family, then you should want to drive them out.
Not looking at the bigger picture. Without the help of the Empire, whether there's war or no war, we will have no chance to make any progress.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I don't think I need to explain how dumb of a sentence that is. And before anyone even says, oh, maybe she went with him to bring peace and protect the planet. No! She would aid and abet anything they decided to, so the oppression would not even stop. I know the story already paints Ocho as being in the wrong, but you can't write a character driven by idealism and then make that ideal not make sense to the character. Unless she's protecting them from a greater threat we know nothing about. Because she joined the one we know about. And yeah, I was saying something about exchanging blows with Lop. Speaking of Lop, Lop is another main character. And to no one's surprise, another character I don't like. She was one of the slave laborers brought in from another planet by the Empire, and the only one that Yasaburo freed to adopt. She honestly isn't as bad as her sister Ocho. The story kind of has this issue of telling us stuff about her rather than showing. So immediately she was adopted by Yasuburo, we jump to 7 years later where the friction in the family is at its peak. The thing is, Locke doesn't care about the planet, and honestly I can't really blame her for it because she has no reason to. That I understand. Her primary goal is reuniting the family that took her in and showed her so much love. So here's my issue now. What love did they ever show her? She even puts that reunion of her family as a priority over the planet's well-being, although that is a priority as well. Yasabura sees her conviction and gives her a lightsaber meant to represent a parent-child connection. This episode is trying so hard to push that found family trope, blood of the covenant is thicker than water of the womb type BS. But anyways, Yasaburo leaves to talk to Ocho, I think, and says the household has dissolved. Okay, to be fair, everyone had left the household at that time, both his guards and everything had all defected. And the next head is an Imperial officer now. So, yeah. You already know all that happens till these two start trading blows, so, yeah. And to be fair, it's genuinely a well animated scene, and the choreography is well done. 10/10, no notes. But my issues stem from the narrative reasoning behind it. Before they started fighting, Ocho tells Lop that she's not even part of the family. And this is weird because Ocho was the reason she was adopted in the first place. It was genuinely what made me think she was brainwashed. After the whole fight scene and all, and yeah, Lop can use the force now because why not? She beats Ocho and she falls off the platform. No, she's not dead, and yes, she just flew away. I'm stuck here wondering what the plan even was. Beat her up enough, then ask her to rejoin the family. Does she think this is Naruto? Like, now, where the hell did she even go? As for Yasaburo, honestly, I have no issue with him. He just loves his planet and his kids, man. If you followed me thus far, you'd have noticed the same glaring issue in the storytelling of this episode. They leave a lot to assumption and implication. Let's end this bloodshed. There was bloodshed? This family has taken good care of me. Well, we're gonna have to take your word for it. I'm sorry if I ever looked down on you. Well, we don't know if you actually did, so it's cool, I guess. The story suffers from not having enough time to tell the story it seems like it wanted to. I feel like they wanted to make a longer episode, then found out they were limited to like 20 minutes and started chopping things up, because the amount of stuff just told to us is concerning. Even the world isn't properly explored. due to time constraints, but this will definitely look sick. This is more a nitpick, but I would have loved to see the implications of a slave laborer essentially becoming a princess and her relationship with the other members of her own race. This video is by no means meant to hate on the creators, or funny enough, even the episode. I wouldn't say it's a bad episode. It's just too big for the medium. You know, I genuinely believed it had potential, and it not being realized is what's frustrating me. But that aside, I'm not above mistakes. I've given my opinion on the show based on my understanding of it. So if you have a different interpretation, which makes more sense, I'd love to hear it down in the comment section. And honestly, this was a rant video. I don't really have an outro, so bye.